Yo. 1 second, we're just leaving the 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 Oh, welcome back. This live is still going, which is a good sign. I don't know what the sign is of, but it's definitely a sign. Basically, if you guys can hear me all right, this week's Parsha is a very intense Parsha. This Parsha is the Parsha of the Torah that openly talks about the redemption. First of all, where are we? Right now we are at the corner of Kingston and Eastern Parkway. We are at the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters of America and World Headquarters of the world, which is why it's called the World Headquarters, believe it or not. We might go inside soon, but first let's talk about the Parsha. I'm just trying to find a nice empty spot. In the meantime, feel free to look around. Here we are at Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters of America, where you can witness people gathered outside this beautiful place. And yeah, this is the place where the leader of the free worlds, named Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, all of a sudden said that he escaped the middle of World War II to come to America to establish Chabad in the lowest possible level in America, basically. I mean, he didn't just come to escape, but he was also planning to come to America actually a lot before World War II even started. But it happened to be that in 1940 he was able to get out. And this is the house that he lived in for 10 years, in that second story up there. And then the Lubavitcher Rebbe, basically, who was his what's it called? The one who took over the leadership, who was his son-in-law. He worked here, and he used to have a lot of gatherings and called for bring-ins where he would tell people Torah words. And that window right there is his office. So if we jump high enough, maybe we could break in the window, but maybe I'll pass for now. And yeah, so this is considered one of the holiest places in the universe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said in 1991, I believe, but it was published in 1992, that from this place, in the future time when the Messiah comes, the temple that the Messiah will miraculously build is going to descend from the heavens above 770 Eastern Parkway. And it says that so like around the sky right here is where this future temple is going to descend miraculously from the heavens. And then once that temple made out of fire descends from the heavens, then it says, based on the Talmud, that it's going to lift up this entire structure that we're on right now and into the air with it. And all the synagogues in the world are going to be uprooted from their places in the ground and miraculously fly into the air to meet the future temple merged with this building. And from there, there's going to be like a big massive superstructure of synagogues, and they're all going to travel to the city of Jerusalem and be settled on the Temple Mount forever. And that's going to usher in an era of eternal prosperity and everything. But what is this week's Parsha talking about? That is the question that you should be asking yourselves, because I already asked it, so now it's up to you to ask it. It says, after the 9th day of the Hebrew month of Av, which commemorates the day that both of the temples in Jerusalem were destroyed, which is considered the saddest day in the Jewish year. After that, there's 7 weeks of consolation, where after the Torah portion that we read every Saturday, we read a portion of the prophets that talk about the redemption and how the Creator will console us for the loss of the temple. And it says, right now we're part of those 7 weeks after the destruction, where it says it's a great infinite consolation of the Creator Himself. And not only to the parts of the prophets that we read after the Torah talk about the redemption during the 7 weeks, but even the parts of the Torah that we read openly talk about the redemption. It says really the entire Torah is a redemption, because it says anyone who learns Torah is automatically freed from any imprisonments they might be in. The only true freedom is the freedom of learning Torah. So really, all parts of the Torah are freedom. But the parts of the Torah that I read during the 7 weeks following the commemoration of the destruction of the temple, which are the 7 weeks of consolation, it says those parts of the Torah are incomparably greater, and they openly talk about, in a revealed way, that says they openly talk about the redemption in an obvious manner. And it says this week's parsha of the Torah starts out with a promise made by the creator of the universe himself through Moshe, his prophet, saying, assuring the Jewish people that they will come into the land. It says, when you come into the land that the creator is giving to you, and when you conquer it and inherit it, then it says you will take the first fruits that grow in that land, and you will offer them as a thanksgiving offering to the creator. And it goes into the details of what kind of offering this is. But the point is that the whole point of this parsha is that it's an assurance that the Jewish people will go into the land, which ultimately is through Mashiach, who will bring the Jewish people back to the land of Yisrael forever. And then that will usher in an era of total eternal prosperity for everyone. And then we will be able to take the first fruits of the land that the Creator gave us as a thanksgiving to the Creator. Can you imagine the Jewish people coming back to the land of Israel miraculously through the Messiah? And this is literally in this week's parsha, when you come into the land. First of all, the land, it says, is the land that the Creator gives the Jewish people. So the land essentially was given to Abraham, to Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says during a certain covenant that the Creator gave the land to Abraham and his descendants, specifically through Isaac and Jacob. And the language of that covenant is that where the Creator says that He Himself already gave the land to Abraham. So it says the way that the Jewish people have the land had the land originally and have the land now is because of this promise that the Creator made to Abraham. And that's what this says in this beginning of the parsha. It says, when you come into the land that the Creator is giving to you. So first of all, the Creator is giving us the land that we're coming into. But then the verse says, which you will then conquer and inherit, and dwell in it securely. So even though it's given to us by the Creator, but it says the Jewish people still had to conquer it, essentially just take what was already given to them by the Creator, which is the land of Israel forever. And then the point is, there's a lot of Kabbalah that talks about the spiritual land and stuff, but even the simple meaning of the parsha is incomparably greater than anything you can imagine. It's a literal promise of the redemption. The Creator Himself talking to us through the prophet Moshe in the book of Deuteronomy, saying that when you come into the land that the Creator is giving you and inherit it and dwell securely in it, then we will be able to bring the first fruits of the land as a thanksgiving for the Creator in the future temple that will be revealed from the heavens. And essentially, the base of Mikdash, the holy temple that will come out of the heavens, it says it will be a house of prayer for all the nations, essentially, at least to a certain point in it. But the point is that the whole point of the redemption is that the entire world will only know about the Creator. There will be nothing else, no other occupation in existence besides for knowing about the Creator. All of the worldly problems that seem to exist nowadays will instantly vanish forever, or instantly, debatably, but they will vanish. The point is, when the Messiah comes, there'll be no more problems at all. It says there'll be totally infinite abundance in everything, no more issues. It says total world peace. It says the Messiah will restore the kingdom of King David to its former glory, and there'll be one king for the entire world. It says all the governments will be fixed under the Messiah's rule, but we won't really need a king to tell people what to do, because really everyone will already want to know everyone will already want to do only the good things, because the Creator Himself will be revealed everywhere. But the Messiah, it says, will still be a king, because there's certain ideas of a king, there's certain spiritual energy of a king that people are able to connect to the Creator in a greater way than just connecting to the Creator directly. The king, it says, is like someone who's exalted above the entire nation. They have a certain presence about them that, by looking at the king, they could, be connected to the Creator. So it says that the Messiah will be, on the one hand, in some of the discourses by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, based on other sources, the Messiah essentially will be two things. He will be a teacher be, on the one hand, in some of the discourses by the Lubavitcher Rebbe based on other sources, the Messiah essentially will be two things. He will be a teacher and he will be a king. When it says in the verse, it says that the entire earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Creator, like water covers a seabed. And then it also says in prophecies that like the animals, like the lion will lie with the wolf, etc., and the lion will eat straw just like a cow. So the point is that animals will get along, and animals will also have a certain divine awareness. So that's why they'll get along, because the animals nowadays, the animals like don't really have what's like a certain don't really have knowledge. They don't really have a certain intelligence. That's why they don't get along. But when the Messiah comes, there's going to be this idea of knowledge in everything, in animals, such that the animals will get along. And it says the knowledge that this Messiah will teach as a teacher will permeate even the physical matter, like stones that we can see. It says in the book of Habakkuk, I believe chapter 2, that it says a stone will cry out from the wall. It says in the book of Habakkuk, I believe chapter 2, that it says a stone will cry out from the wall and a piece of wood will answer it. So stones are going to be talking, and wood is also going to be talking. And that's going to be because the Messiah is a teacher who will teach everyone, not only humans, but he will even teach inanimate matter about the Creator, such that he will permeate the idea of the knowledge of the Creator, even in animals. Someone is asking in the comments, where does it talk of the animals getting along, period? What chapter or section? I forgot the exact chapter, but it's in the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu. It says the wolf will lie with the lamb, the cow will eat straw like a cow, and it says other animals, like it says like a young child will be able to play with the eyeball of an adder, of a poisonous snake. Like the point is that it talks about, there's a few different verses that talk about like animals getting along. I think a leopard and a goat will get along, it says. A wolf and a lamb, and a few other examples, which that shows the general idea. In fact, the Maimonides actually says that all those verses, in one place in the Laws of Kings, chapter, I think it was chapter 11, or maybe might have been chapter 12 actually, that he says that all those things are actually metaphors for the fact that the nations which are metaphorically compared to wolves and leopards will get along with Israel, which is compared to a lamb. But the Rambam later wrote in a follow-up to that it says, it's not necessarily a metaphor. I just wrote that it's a metaphor because the Rambam at the time didn't find any sources that said that it's not a metaphor. But the Rambam himself was open to the idea that it's not a metaphor, and many other sources definitely say that it's literal. And in fact, the Ravad, which is one of the commentaries on the Rambam, says explicitly, he argues with the Rambam. When the Rambam said that it's metaphorical, the Ravad quotes a verse from the Torah that says, when the Jewish people do the Creator's will, it says, I will annul the bad animals from the land. I says, I will hishpati chai ramin haaretz. I will take away the bad animals from the land. I says, I will hishpati chai ramin haaretz. I will take away the bad animals, the predators from the land. So that's like an open verse. I mean, some places say that it means the predators will go extinct completely, but other places say that the predators will still exist, but the fact that they're bad animals, that the badness of the animal will be wiped away. But the point is that the Ravad quotes an explicit verse of the Torah that talks about how the animals will, the badness of the animals will be annulled forever. And many other sources definitely say that it's literal, especially in Kabbalah. And the Rambam himself, he says, even though the Rambam said it was a metaphor, but he said the only reason why he wrote it was a metaphor, he himself said was only because he could not find any other sources that say it's not a metaphor. But many other sources later do explain how it's literal. And the main idea of it is because the Messiah is going to be, besides for being a king, but the Messiah is going to be a teacher, such that the verse says the entire earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Creator like water covers the seabed. And it says, in other verses it talks about the animals, but it says not only the people, not only all humans will know about the Creator, and not only will that be the only thing that humans are doing, but it says that the Messiah's influence will even reach into the realm of the non-living, into inanimate, inorganic matter, shall I say. Not inanimate matter, as we'll explain, but inorganic matter, such as even stones, will be permeated with the knowledge. And that's why the verse says the entire earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Creator. Not only the things on the earth, But it's explained in some of the Kabbalistic commentaries that even the physical earth itself, the element of earth and dust, literal